And good early morning to you, YouTube. How you guys doing? Dirk here with GC Blues 45. Whew, what a night we had. We had 8 games on the dock. I did 7 for you in the pregame report because one game ended early. So we're going to get to all the games, including the games that I did in the pregame report. So remember, if you haven't come across this video, haven't like it, give me that thumbs up to report it. Helps get the channel going. And folks, when I did the latest analysis, I checked it. I have noticed a lot of people who view my videos are non-subscribers. So I like to see that number go up. So please hit that subscribe icon and be notified every time I upload a new video by clicking that bell icon. I like some more subscribers, folks. So please hit that subscribe icon. So we're going to start off with Montreal at the Panthers. Currently, Montreal is going into the matchup. Montreal was 33, 30, and 9 and 75 points. Florida 44, 25, and 3 and 91 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Montreal Canadiens beat the Florida Panthers by a score of 4-2. Shots on goal were the Habs 22 and the Panthers 26. The Canadiens had 24 saves with the Panthers 18. Montreal was 2 for 3 on the power play with Florida 0 for 2 on the power play. This was a pretty good game, evenly matched all the way through. If you guys say Florida didn't really try, you guys don't know hockey. Basically, Florida, when Montreal got the third goal and it got later in the game, Florida pulled their goalie. And when they did that, they were hoping to tie it so they can go to overtime, but they didn't do it, and that's why Montreal won. This was a great 60-minute game by both teams, and I'm proud of the Montreal Canadiens winning. They wanted to win more, that's why they won. So, way to go by Montreal, and good going by Florida for at least trying. They did try at least. Now we go to the games that do count, which were the games that we did in the pregame report. 7 games. Next was Buffalo at Washington. Entering the matchup, Buffalo was 30, 36, and 6 and 6 points. Buffalo 47, 16, and 9 and 103 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Buffalo Sabres beat the Washington Capitals by a score of 5-8. Shots on goal were the Sabres 23, the Caps 29. The Sabres had 24 saves with the Capitals 15. Buffalo went 2 for 5 on the power play with Washington 1 for 2 on the power play. And Buffalo wins the series 2-1. 2-1-0. And Buffalo wins. Basically, they outscored the Capitals by 14-12. By 2. 14-12. After one period, it was evenly matched. And then somehow Buffalo said, we're going to take these guys to Chinatown. And that's what happened. And Buffalo just outpowered them. Now, despite the late surge, Washington just couldn't do it. They couldn't withstand Buffalo. That's why Buffalo won. By the way, Aljo Ovechkin did score, so now he's 5 away from breaking the record, 4 from tying. He needs 4 to tie. He needs 5 to break it. Can he do it? We'll find out. So, but this was a good game by Buffalo, so way to go by them. Excuse me. By the way, folks, if you haven't got a chance to try this tea yet, um, Gold Peak, which is made by Coca-Cola, they got a zero sugar tea out now. It's very good. I actually enjoy it myself. It's actually a pretty good sweet tea. It's zero sugar, no sugar. It's basically sweetened by something else, but it's very good. You'll like it. Look for this at your grocery store or your local convenience mart or motor mart, basically your gas stations and stuff. So check for it. It's Gold Peak Zero Sugar Sweet Tea. Try it for yourself. You will love it. You guys will love it. And I'm more of a person of zero sugar. Now, folks, before we continue this intro part, I do want to tell you, I do enjoy a very good sweet tea. I do regular sugar here and there, but I don't do much of it. I do a lot of zero sugar. That's very good. I enjoy it. So let's get back into our NHL report. Next was Vancouver at Winnipeg. Entering this matchup, Vancouver was 36 20, 34, 36, and 13 and 81 points. Winnipeg 50, 19, and 4 and 104 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Winnipeg Jets beat the Vancouver Canucks by a score of 3-1. Shots on goal were the Jets 27, the Canucks 24. The Jets had 23 saves with the Canucks 24. Winnipeg was 0 for 4 on the power play with Vancouver 0 for 3 on the power play. And Winnipeg wins the series 2-1-0. And they won on the goals. Basically, they outscored the Canucks, or they outscored Vancouver 11-7. Um, this was a hard fought game by both teams. It was evenly matched. If you say Vancouver just gave up, you don't know hockey, to tell you the truth. Winnipeg wanted to win more. Vancouver played a full 60 minutes, no doubt about it, and they fought hard. So I had to give credit to the Vancouver Canucks for playing a great game, also. But Winnipeg wanted more. That's why they won. So way to go by both teams. Um, it was a good hard fought game, but Winnipeg wanted more, so that's why they won. Now, folks, I know what you're saying, Dirk. Why are you wearing a Arizona Coyotes jersey when they're no longer around? Technically, Utah is the Arizona Coyotes. They are. And if I was the league, I will give the history of this team to Utah. Literally, they should. And that'd be a different video for a different time, folks. So look out for that, okay? So Utah over at Arizona at Chicago. Entering the matchup, Utah was 32, 29, and 12 and 76 points. Chicago 21, 43, and 9 and 51 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Utah Hockey Club beat the Chicago Blackhawks by a score of 5-2. Shots on goal were Hockey Club 31, the Hawks 29. Hockey Club had 27 saves with the Blackhawks 26. Utah was 0 for 1 on the power play with Chicago 0 for 4 on the power play. And Utah wins the series 3-1. Basically, Utah went 3-0-1, 7 points. One game was an OTL. So that was so good. They got a point out of it. And they beat Chicago, basically outscored them 15-9. So way to go by Utah. After one, it was an evenly match, but Utah did something in the locker room after a talk and stuff. They got their heads together. And after two, it was still evenly matched despite having a 3-2 lead. And then all of a sudden, third period, that's when they really said, okay, we're going to close this out. We're going to beat them. And that's what they did. And basically, after Chicago got that, when Utah got the fourth goal, Chicago basically quit. Basically, Chicago stopped playing after um, 51 minutes. In 51 minutes, they're like, oh, we're done. We're not playing no more. We're not going to even try, they're saying. So they played 51 minutes of good hockey, and then they're like, we're done. We're not doing it anymore. We're not going to play no more. And that's another reason why Chicago's tanking. And I don't know why they got Mike Skinner in the trade deadline. Mike Skinner should never accepted that trade to Chicago. Why get him when you know you're going nowhere? Go figure, folks. Um, so very good game by Utah. Um, they got the win and they're keeping their playoffs hopes alive still. Next were the Senators at the Penguins. By the way, before we continue, I'm 1-2-0. Did I get another win? Let's find out. Entering this matchup, Ottawa was 39, 28, and 5 and 83 points. Pittsburgh 29, 34, and 11, 69 points. At the end of 60 minutes, we were tied at 0. No score at all. This game had to go into an extra period. And it was on a power play. And Pittsburgh wins by a score of 1-0. Shots on goal were the Pens 35, the Sens 31. The Penguins had 31 saves with the Senators 34. Pittsburgh went 1 for 2 on the power play with Ottawa 0 for 1 on the power play. Ottawa wins the series, by the way, 2-0-1. Yep. Total of 5 points. And they win on the goals. They outscored the Penguins 8-3. Um, this was a great even matchup. Interdivisional, great neck and neck game. I mean, this was going back and forth, back and forth. And I mean, there was like a lid on the goal until overtime. And Pittsburgh got it. That's why they won. So way to go by Pittsburgh. And way to go by Ottawa. You guys still got your playoff hopes alive. You guys picked up a point, which is great. I'm not disappointed. But Ottawa wanted, but Pittsburgh wanted this way more. That's why they got it. That's why they picked up the two. Even though they're not in the playoffs no more, but Pittsburgh picks up that extra point. So way to go. And like I said, I'm not mad at um Ottawa for losing, but it was a good even matchup. You can't have a better stalemate than that. You can't have a better great argument than that. So way to go. Next were the Islanders at the Canes. Entering the matchup, the Islanders were 32, 30, and 10 and 74 points. Carolina 44, 24, and 4 and 92 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Carolina Hurricanes surge through to win by a score of 6-4. Shots on goal were the Kings 30, the Isles 31. Hurricanes had 27 with the Islanders 24. Carolina went 1 for 4 on the power play with the New York Islanders 1 for 5 on power play. The Islanders went 2-2-0. Carolina 2-1-1. Carolina wins on 5 points. Basically, the series was tied, but points wise and record wise, it goes to Carolina. And Carolina wins on the goals. They basically outscored the Islanders 15-10. Um, hmm, what to say about this game? This was after 2 periods, this was evenly matched. Despite Carolina having a 4-3 lead, and Carolina, they wanted to swim more. That's why they got the 2 extra goals. The Islanders, they fought hard. They played a full 60 minutes, in my opinion. I think they did. So, way to go by the Islanders for playing a very good game. And Carolina, they wanted to win more. That's why they won. So, way to go by Carolina. Um, pretty much putting pressure on the Islanders, but the Islanders did fought through a great full 60-minute game by both teams. So I'm not disappointed by this. It was a great matchup overall. So way to go by both teams. I'm happy. Next was the Toronto Maple Leafs at the Ducks. Entering this matchup, Toronto was 44, 25, and 4, 92 points. Anaheim 32, 32, and 8, and 72 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Leafs beat the Ducks by a score of 3-2. Shots on goal were the Leafs 23, the Ducks 31. The Maple Leafs had 29 saves with the Ducks 20. Toronto went 0 for 2 on the power play with Anaheim 1 for 4. And Toronto wins the series 2-0. 2-0 was the record. And he outscored the Ducks by 6-4, basically by 2 more goals. 6-4 was the outcome on that. This was a good even matchup. The Ducks played a full 60 minutes, in my opinion. I really think they did fought hard and really tried to that they want to win this game. But at the end, it was not enough by the Ducks to overcome Toronto. So in some ways, the Ducks did fight hard. They did. They very fought hard. So I'm not mad at the Ducks for losing. They did a great job for what they had and what they did. So way to go. But Toronto wanted to win more. That's what they got. So way to go. And finally, the Sharks at the Kings. Entering the matchup, the Sharks were 20, 43, and 9, and 49 points. The Kings were 40, 23, and 9, and 89 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Los Angeles Kings beat the San Jose Sharks by a score of 8-1. Shots on goal, the Kings 36, the Sharks 23. The Kings had 22 saves with the Sharks 28. The Kings went 2 for 5 on the power play with San Jose 0 for 3 on the power play. And the series was tied 2 games each. 2-2 and 0 for both teams. And LA outscores the Sharks 15-14. So basically, the extra goal that they got put them over the top. Um, the Sharks couldn't control the Kings. This was a very hard fought match, and the Kings played their hearts out. Basically, they said, "We're not going to let these guppies beat us," and that's what they did. Despite the Sharks getting 1 goal, the Sharks just dominated. I mean, the Kings basically the Sharks got their keisters handed to them, and that's why they lost. They couldn't withstand the Kings, and that's why they lost. And it's devastating that they did, but there's nothing you could do. And the Sharks are playing for their playoff live. I mean, their draft lives. There's a possibility they're going to get the number one pick again, with Chicago probably getting second pick. We'll wait and see when the draft lottery happens. And of course, you're going to have my predictions on who's going to get it. So watch out for that. So with that being said, it was a great game by the Kings. They're keeping their playoff hopes alive. So what does this do for me? Well, I went 4-2-1 for the day. Put me at 9 points, and now I'm at 279, 157, 44 for a total of 604 points. And folks, tell me how you guys are doing with your records. Are you guys doing good? You guys doing bad? Tell me. Sorry, tell me how you guys doing with your picks. And also, folks, if you're betting, tell me how you guys are doing on your bets. You guys are ahead. You guys are behind. For me, I'm not doing no betting this year, so that's why I I haven't even done betting so this year. So I am I'm even. So, but folks, as always, please stay safe. Take care. Remember the Lord's watching. I love you guys a lot. We'll see you guys later today. That's right, because it's early morning. It's like 3 o'clock here. Yeah, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. So as always, folks, please stay safe. I love you guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. And until then, peace.